Zach's Review. Welcome back, man. So Snoop just released a new album, Is It a Crime? Released May 15th, 2025. And let me tell y'all, this is way better than the last album he dropped, Missionary. Missionary was supposed to be like the second coming of Doggy Style. And to me, I thought it was like Snoop's exit album, because you know, Doggy Style, Missionary, you get it. But anyways, I don't know what happened with that album. And I thought that shit was gonna be a banger, especially with Dre on board with the album, because Dre ain't been on board with a Snoop album since The Last Meal, and The Last Meal came out in what, 2000? And yeah, let me just say this, I was disappointed, and I'm a big Snoop fan, always been a big Snoop fan since I was a little kid, you know? One of my favorite rappers. But let's just say, Is It a Crime? It was like, okay, this the Snoop we need to be hearing. This the Snoop we wanted on Missionary. But you know, we'll take it. We had features from October London, La Russell, even Sexy Red was on the album. I thought that was pretty cool. Wiz Khalifa, Charlie Be Real, Akeem Ali. I thought that track was dope. They even had Pharrell on the album as well. But one thing that caught my attention was the song Shut Your Bitch Ass Up. Shut your bitch ass up. Okay, so he dissed Suge Knight. And if you watch the video, it even had like AI clips of Suge in prison with the orange jumpsuit on and on the phone and all that shit. My personal opinion on it, I thought it was a dope song. I thought the production was dope. Rick Rock always does a dope ass job with the beats. And if you've been keeping up with Suge Knight's interviews, you know that he had a lot to say. And usually Suge don't really be saying nothing. So when Suge came out and was talking about all the stuff that people wanted him to talk about or had questions about, he was addressing them. And you know, it had everybody in a frenzy. So obviously it ruffled some feathers. But he had a lot to say about Snoop and his time with Death Row and how things were behind closed doors, as far as like with Snoop and Tupac, and like how they weren't really connected, how people on the outside thought they were, and how basically Snoop was quote unquote scared of Pac. You know, he was basically saying how Pac was running over Snoop and how Snoop was running from a fade with Pac and all this other mess, you know what I'm saying? So obviously Snoop caught wind of that and heard what Suge was saying in these interviews and came back with the song Shut Your Bitch Ass Up. But if y'all remember, in the early 2000s, I believe the album was Pay the Cost to Be the Boss, Snoop dissed Suge on the song Pimp Slap, which I thought was a hard ass diss, and that motherfucker was brutal. Yeah, it was like the second coming of that diss, you know what I'm saying? So if you know, you know. But if you ain't heard it, go check that out. A lot of people are like, well, why he wait to that? No, he dissed him a long time ago too. This ain't nothing new. But at a point in time, they did rekindle. Well, we thought they had rekindled, because like a few albums ago, Snoop had basically paid homage to Suge and was basically saying how he looked out for him and so on and how they were cool. But I guess that wasn't the case with Suge. So I don't know, it's a lot of shit we don't really know. So moving on. I want to say the production of this album was way better than the Missionary album. The beat selection was fire. All the producers that was on board, like I said, Rick Rock was on board, and the shit was a banger. It's really a good album. Snoop is like a hit and miss lately. Ever since Blue Carpet Treatment, it's been like a hit and miss with Snoop albums, you know. But if you're a Snoop fan, you appreciate him still rolling and putting out music and still doing his thing. Like, it's dope. It's dope to see him still going, 30 plus years later? I mean, what's your favorite artist doing at this time? Nah, I'm playing. Let me stop talking shit. But anyways, my personal favorite songs, the songs that I was fucking with on this album, was the opening song, Is It a Crime? I loved it. It had the Sade sample on there. Fire, 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 fire. Next one I was messing with was a Sophisticated Crippin' with the Marvin Gaye sample. I thought that shit was so dope. The beat was smooth. The way Snoop was flowing on there, it was like, okay, we got that vintage Snoop on this joint. This was fire. I like the one he did with La Russell, the Can't Wait. The production on there was fire. La Russell was spitting on that joint. La Russell was fire. Shout out to La Russell. He's from the Bay. He really like coming up in the game, and to have a track with Snoop right now is just elevated his game even more. elevated his game even more, and it's good to see that. So shout out to Lil Russell, you know, for getting the placement on the album. Next one was the one he did with Akeem Ali, You Want My All. I thought that was dope. It was like a very pimped out, retro 70s, 80s feel vibe to it. If you know Akeem Ali, you know that's the type of time he be on, and I fuck with Akeem Ali. I feel like this shit had happened a long time ago. I thought this was a dope collab, and they definitely was spitting that ism on there, you hear me? I like the Snoop Will Make You Dance song. I thought that was like the Snoop sound. It definitely had that real vintage Snoop sound, like back when it was probably like after the Dogfather album. You know, it had that feel to me when I heard it, and I was like, okay, this Snoop is in his pocket on this one. It was real fire. But all in all, I would rate this album on the Snoop scale. On the Snoop scale, I'm gonna rate this album a 9 out of 10, my opinion. It was fire. There's probably like only maybe 2 songs I really wasn't fucking with, but all in all, it was a dope album. It was the way to come back after that Missionary flop, because that album was not good at all. There was probably like 1 or 2 songs on there that I liked, but I expected way more from Snoop and Dre. I was like, why you do that? Like, Dre, come on, man, really? But anyways, bro, that's gonna wrap it up today. Thank y'all for tapping in. Y'all go check out the album, Is It a Crime? What y'all think about the album? And be for real, man. What did you rate the album? What did you think about the production? What did you think about him dissing Suge Knight, man? And, you know, was it a comeback album after Missionary? You let me know. Y'all tap in. Oh, yeah, make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all like, share, comment. Have your people tap in, man. It's your boy, Zach's Review. Peace.